Hi, everyone. We're starting. This is Dawn Nocera, and this is the Advanced Toastmasters Online Club, where we are Maverick leaders looking to make an impact through appreciating ourselves and others, knowing that this is going to create abundance for ourselves and in our world. And I would like to share with you just a little bit about our club in case this is the first time you're viewing or first time you're here. Like I said, we are the Advanced Toastmasters Online. I think this is where I got a little confused yesterday. Oh, there we go. Play it. So this meeting will be recorded. Our policy of recording our meetings, we can use the stills and excerpts for our club for public relations and social media. I didn't come up with this slide. I borrowed it from another online Toastmasters club. Because we want to make sure that we are in integrity with everyone, knowing that you're being recorded and that our recordings will be online. The exceptions can be made upon request. If there's something that you don't want made public, you have to ask at the end of the meeting. We can pause that or hold it and give you some time to either figure out how to edit that video. But you have an opportunity to let us know that you don't want to record it. And videos are used internally for our club for more education within the club. Here's some online meeting tips. Use a headset or earbuds. I have earbuds. And you can mute your mic when you're not speaking, and that is in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And you can also toggle your video on and off if you need to get up. It's just like in a regular club meeting. If you are not on stage, you want to make sure your camera is off. So don't leave your seat empty. And these are a couple of things that you can do if you want to become a member of the club. You attend a few meetings, 3 meetings as a guest. Remember, this is an advanced club, not for absolute beginners. And if you cannot meet the membership requirements, and our membership requirements are that you have a competent communicator award, which is those first 10 speeches within Toastmasters. If you don't have that and you'd like to be a member, you can make a 10-minute, make a speech to the club and let us know what you can do to contribute. And of course, the exceptions are subject to a vote by the board, for the future board of members who are to come. And we can use our website to fill out the agenda as you move on. I'll show you more about that. And with that, I'm going to turn, and I'm the club president or acting club president until we go through the whole process of chartering. And I'm going to pass today's mic over to Pamelah Landers, who is our acting club Toastmaster for today.
Good day, everyone. Thank you. Good day, everyone. I'm pleased to be in the role of Toastmasters today. We have some roles to introduce. So, Jim, you're going to be the accountant and grammarian. Could you tell us what your role is?
Yes, I am going to be the accountant and grammarian today. And I do have a small Christmas birthday card that I'm using for my audio signal, not during prepared speeches, but during the course of the rest of the meeting, which I will also keep my mic unmuted until that time. So you can probably tell if I'm going to account or grammarian you simply by the fact that you're going to hear car noise. But the sound for the bell today is, can you hear that?
Yes. Thank you.
I apologize for the cat call, but that's the best I can do. Back to you.
Thank you. And timer is Adrienne. Can you share with us what you're doing today?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Adrienne. I am in Miami, Florida. I will be your timer today. I will give you the time of the speeches. When you see Green, you have met the speaking requirement. Yellow means you need to slow down. And red means you need to stop with a 30-second deviation. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Adrienne. We have one speaker for 8 to 10 minutes, which is Marty, and Adrienne will be doing a speech for 5 to 7 minutes. We don't have a general evaluator. We need to determine how we're going to handle that. Dawn, could you, let's see. I think you're going to kind of need to do that because you're not speaking but you're evaluating, right? Yeah,
I'm evaluating. And so you're evaluating also, right?
Yes, we both are.
Okay, well, I'm
the Toastmaster. Why don't you do it? Because I'm already the Toastmaster.
Okay, that's fine. That'll be great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we'll begin with our first speaker today, which is going to be Marty. And I have an introduction to read for Marty. Marty Green is a project manager and entrepreneur from Palm City, Florida. His passion is revealing treasures, people, places, and experiences that have made his life better and could potentially do that for others. Marty is speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, speech number 10. The purpose of his speech is to inspire the audience to improve personally, emotionally, professionally, or spiritually, relying heavily on emotional appeal. With his speech entitled, "Your Power is in Your Point of View," please help me welcome Marty Green.
Thank you. Have you ever been on the beach or on the ocean and seen a boat just drifting and wondered if it was without a rudder? You watch it for a long time and you never see it get underway. You really start to wonder whether it has a way to steer itself. That's a little bit like what it's like to either deliver or listen to a speech that has no point of view. Let me give you an example. Oprah's speech at the Golden Globe Awards. How many of you, if you raise your hand, watched that speech or have heard it since then? When you listen to her, whether you agree with her point of view or not, or whether you agree with her politics, one has to notice that she connected with everyone in the audience, that she started with a point and drove the speech to a climax at the end, and everyone stayed connected, everyone stayed riveted, and at the end, everyone stood up. Maybe people didn't agree with her, but they all understood what she was saying, and they all understood her point of view. And everything that you've ever seen from Oprah has had a point of view. Her movie, The Color Purple, all of her work has started with that. And so you understand it, and that's why people relate to it, and that's probably why people are saying she should run for president, because they can relate to what she's saying and see the power behind it. But let me divert to a more local story. Where does one find the point of view? Sometimes a person may just be going along with their life with no particular direction and find a point of view. It could be a result of an event in their life. It could be something that came from their parents. It could be something that they read. Let me give you one story. My friend Susan, who I met on Facebook, because we were both friends with an actor by the name of Ian Ziering. Susan liked Ian Ziering because he was hot and he was in Beverly Hills 90210. I liked Ian because he was my elementary school student, and I had followed him through life, and even to the point where he was my sister's best man at her first wedding. And I knew that Ian had struggled in his acting career, although as an 8-year-old, he had actually done commercials for McDonald's. But as an adult, he'd struggled to get an acting job. And they'd gone out to California and found his role in Beverly Hills 90210 after many chances. But Susan was following him. And I got to know Susan as a New York girl. She lived in Queens. And she had been working for the New York Mets and then gotten laid off and didn't have any particular direction. As a matter of fact, her parents lived in Florida, and she really moved between wanting to move to Florida with her parents, which would be an easier life, and staying in New York and trying to find something to do. But she hadn't found it yet. And one day, they changed the flight pattern from LaGuardia Airport. Now, she lived right over the ocean, and the airplane started flying so close to her home that she could read the numbers on the plane. And this became not a once-in-a-while thing, but an everyday and all-night thing. So people watched these planes go by, taking off and landing, and it used to be that they would avoid those areas, but then they changed the flight pattern, and she became annoyed. It was really disturbing. You couldn't watch television without hearing that noise, and there were some pretty loud jets. MD-199s were particular. And so instead of just wilting, Susan started to get involved. She started to go to meetings about that whole thing. She started learning everything there was to learn about aviation. She knows all the runway names. She knows all the flight patterns. She became an expert. She started meeting with local political leaders in New York and became more of an expert and started to develop some influence in that circle, to the point that she began actually meeting with the mayor and with the governor, and was actually appointed to a round table where they make decisions. At this point in her life, Susan has actually been on television and interviewed because of her knowledge and her experience in this subject. It's pretty awesome to watch her now. And it all started because of an event in her life that caused her to have a point of view. Her posts on Facebook are very different now than they were back 2 years ago. And it's really astounding to watch. In my own life, I discovered this through an event also. In our neighborhood, there was a housing crisis where there were people who lived where we lived, couldn't afford to live there. The policemen, the firemen, the people who served our community couldn't afford to live there. And there was a statewide ruling by a judge that every town had to create a place for people to have affordable housing. Now, the average acreage in our area was really split. Ours was 1 to 3, and on the other side of town, which was newer, it was 5 acres. Well, a developer caught on to this and started developing a plan for 5,000 homes in about a 2-acre spot. And this, of course, caught the attention of the people living in that area, and they wanted no part of that. Surrounding communities had done the same thing, and they'd had these developers who would make a fortune off of taking these small lots and putting many, many homes on them. And as a result, some of these folks started running for the city council and won their positions based on the outrage that this was causing. Well, they decided that they were going to develop the housing on our side of town, and they were going to use eminent domain to do it. And we got a letter in our mailbox one day from one of our local residents. Her name was Doris Lawson. And she pointed out the fact that people's homes were going to be taken over, including hers. And so we formed a committee called Warren Residents of Equitable Mount Laurel. And I became one of the leaders of that group. And there was all people from all over town. And we actually came up with a solution that would solve that problem. Actually, I came up with that solution while mowing my lawn one day and raking leaves. And actually started meeting with the local council people, starting with the one who was a little bit sympathetic, and then the mayor, and then working my way up. And we started going to the town meetings, and it actually started where there were only maybe 10 of us. By the time this whole thing was decided, and we only had a few weeks to be able to overturn this whole thing, we actually had 1,000 people in a high school or middle school auditorium, and they overturned it. So the plan that I developed in my backyard, doing my raking of my leaves, actually became the plan that was enacted. So everybody was really happy with it, and that's actually the way our town looks now. And that was my first introduction to the importance of a point of view. Now, where does that take us? Well, I wasn't really much of a speaker at that point in my life, and I wasn't really taking a role in speaking. But when we went to a training leadership institute back in November of 2016, I was introduced to one of the workshops who said, if you're going to be a good speaker, you're going to make a good speech, you need to start with a point of view. And it really caught my attention. And I realized that I had heard lots of speeches that just kind of rambled and went on, and maybe somebody made some points, but the points, what the stories they told didn't really support those points, and that the speeches didn't really go anyplace. Well, I realized that the important thing was to start with a point of view, and so I started talking about this and mentoring the people in my group to always start with a point of view. And so I would tell you today, and I haven't seen any flags to see where I am with time-wise, but I would say that if you're going to mentor someone, or you're going to do your own speech, or you're going to evaluate a speech, make sure that it starts with a point of view and builds from there. And so, again, I don't know where I am with time because I haven't seen any flags, but I will say that everything starts, if you're going to have any power, it will start with a point of view. Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you very much, Marty. Unmuted. Okay, do we take a moment to write comments in the club?
Yes, we
Dawn?
can. Yes, we can. Take a moment
Okay.
to write comments. And make sure that when you're writing comments, if another speaker does start, that you just send it to them privately.
Okay, so let's take a minute, like we put a minute on the clock, and actually write notes to Marty.
I used it actually 42 times. I know that.
In the chat, and I can't figure out how to do this. Okay.
And for those who are new, the chat box is at the very bottom, right beside it. If you just move your cursor down at the bottom, there should be a little bubble that says chat, or at the top if you're on a tablet, or at the side. But there should be a little bubble that says chat on it, and you can click on that and a chat box should open up that you can see.
I'm just trying to figure out how to send it to just Marty. Anyway, I'm evaluating you, Marty, so I'll just share my notes then.
Thank you. Just a suggestion, guys, and we do this at our other meeting. When when different green flags come up, you might want to spotlight that person, because if somebody was holding up flags, I know it was Adrienne was the timer, I didn't see them ever. So you may want to spotlight that, whoever that is. I don't mind if not seeing myself on screen for a minute.
Right, spotlight.
It was disconcerting not to know where I was in time. So.
Yeah, and that'll come along as I get better at understanding how to do the spotlighting and not keep it on the person because I have I will learn.
Oh, that's okay.
And one of the things, you tell me, Martin, if this will help, if the person who's doing the timing, and normally Jim's really good, and he has a thing, but it must not have, we must not have heard it. But would it have been helpful if you would have seen me type in green, or somebody type in green on your chat box and you saw the chat box pop up? Would that be helpful?
I'm not sure. Try it once. See if
okay, let me see if I can do this. So it would be, well, there, Adrienne just did it.
Yes, that helped.
Okay, so I think that might help, and it's not as distracting as doing, bringing somebody else's screen to replace yours, because your flow of your speech is the integrity of your speech, I think, needs to be held. So I like having the green light or whatever else, but
I think it depends on what view you have as well, because when I typed it in the chat, I didn't see it flash across the screen on my view. And I noticed sometimes it does, but on the view that I'm on, I think I might be on galley view, and I don't see that green flash on the screen. I think that's only in the speaker view.
Okay.
I saw it, and I'm in gallery view as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think if you minimize the chat box. If you just close it down if you're a speaker, if you close the chat box down and nobody else is chatting while you're speaking except for the timer and they do that, it pops up and it'll say that. So this is just all new. We're learning.
Okay. You know, actually, the funny thing is in the future, I actually had my iPad set up with the timing thing on it. I forgot to hit start. So,
I have mine on too. I know. I did the same thing last night. I totally understand.
We'll get there, you know, it's new. We're all learning. Your sound just went away, Marty.
Oh, there, can you hear me now?
Yes.
No.
Do you know what my time was?
8 minutes, 32 seconds. I put it in the chat.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're moving on to our second speaker. Adrienne Williams is a real estate broker with over 20 years of experience in the financial services industry. She's been with Toastmaster for the last 2 years. She's going to be doing speech number 3 from the interpretive reading manual with a speech entitled, I don't know. I don't know what the speech title is.
Sorry is the title. It's right above the intro.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry is the title. Oh, it's speaking with her speech entitled Sorry. Please help me welcome Adrienne Williams.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests. Sorry comes from, it started as a book, then it was a play, and then it was a movie for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, by the author Entice Jane. It was her first work and her most acclaimed theater piece. It consists of a series of poetic monologues to accomplish dance music, movements, and a choreography poem. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it did get a Tony Award, and it was actually released as a Broadway play in 1976. Today, I will be reading for you one of the poems. I'm doing the interpretive reading book, and this is actually going to be a monologue from this particular series. What made this play famous is that it tells the story of 7 women who have suffered oppression in a racist and sexist society. But the particular piece that I've chosen, we're all going to be able to relate to it because we've all heard, I'm sorry, in one way or another. One thing I don't need is any more apologies. I've got sorry greet me at my front door. You can keep yours. I don't know what to do with them. They don't make me happy. Or get a morning paper. Didn't nobody stop using my tears to wash cars? 'Cause of sorry, I am simply tired of collecting. I didn't know I was important to you. I'm gonna have to throw some away 'cause I can't get the clothes in my closet for all the sorries. I'm gonna tack a sign to my door. I'm gonna leave a message by the phone. If you call to say you're sorry, call somebody else. I don't use any more sorry. I let sorry, didn't mean to. How could I know about that? Take a walk down a dark and musty street in Brooklyn. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, and I won't be sorry for none of it. Let sorry soothe your soul. I'm going to soothe mine. I loved you on purpose. I was open on purpose. I still crave vulnerability and close talk. And I'm not even sorry about you being sorry. You can carry all that guilt and grime you wanna. Just don't give it to me. I can't use another sorry. Next time, you should admit you're a mean, low-down, trifling, and no-count straight out of the steady beat of sorry all the time. Enjoy being yourself. Wow. Sorry. really resonated with me because I've been in a situation where I have been stood up, had the date show up late, have been cheated on, disrespected, emotionally abused, physically abused, and I just can't take another sorry. Sorry, it's because of the alcohol. It's because of my mama. It's because of my childhood. It's because of this. It's because of that. Sorry just ain't gonna cut it anymore. Fellow Toastmasters, in this journey, you're gonna go through a lot of experiences, especially with Toastmasters and people. And they're gonna always be sorry. I'm so sorry I showed up late. I'm so sorry I can't speak today. I'm sorry I just cannot do my role today. How many sorries can you take? Either you're going to be committed or not. But don't say you're sorry. Just do it. Come and do it anyway. Tell the other people that you're sorry that you can't meet their commitment because you're committed to something else. How about that? We don't want your sorries here at Toastmasters. We want you to show up, to participate, to get involved. How many of you Toastmasters have been in a situation where someone said they were sorry to you? And you show a raise of your hands? If someone's told you you're sorry? Exactly. Me too. I'm so sick of hearing I'm sorry. So in the next time somebody tells you they're sorry, you tell them, no. You can keep your sorry. What I need you to do is to be accountable to me and not come with your sorries. Fellow Toastmasters, it is my guest to share this monologue with you today. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Adrienne. Well done. All right, let's take a moment to provide feedback for Adrienne. Okay, thank you. Now I would like to get a timer's report for the speeches. Adrienne, you're muted.
Martin's time was 8 minutes, 32 seconds.
And Dawn?
It was around 6 minutes. Adrienne, no apologies. I just reset it.
I'm looking at it.
It was right on time.
Thank you, Dawn. Okay, now I'm going to give Dawn control of the meeting as the table topics master.
Woo! All right, everyone gets a chance to talk and give a table topic tonight because that's the way we roll. And tonight's table topics are going to be geared around Maverick leadership and how do we think of ourselves as Maverick leaders. So tonight I'm going to call on Jim, are you able to participate in table topics?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay, Jim, your question is, as a Maverick leader, as someone who thinks outside of the box, give us an example of one situation, you have to pick only one, where you demonstrated out-of-the-box leadership outside of Toastmasters.
Well, thank you very much, Dawn. I appreciate the opportunity to answer that question. Maverick leadership outside of Toastmasters. Of course, Toastmasters, being a Toastmaster since 2004, basically, the types of leadership that I've performed, I guess, outside of the Toastmaster realm is all really due to the fact that I have been a member of Toastmasters for so long. It is when at work that I get asked to do some function extemporaneously and without any advance notice that I am able to take the skills that I've learned and applied through Toastmasters and through the different various things that I've experimented with through Toastmasters. The one situation that I can recall is being asked to help facilitate a small conference. And because in the real world of Toastmasters, I did a spring conference at the division level back in 2010, I realized all of the logistics that would be involved in this. So I don't think that they thought I would be asking for committee meetings and the level of coordination that I was insisting upon, because I was about 3 levels of hierarchy in this organization below everybody else. So I kind of came out of nowhere. They just thought, Jim, will you take care of this one aspect? Well, there was an element of, similar to this type of meeting, an element of video conferencing for some of the folks that would be participating remotely. And because of what I've done in the past, and because of what we're doing today, there's a lot of dynamics and things that you need to focus on, which is testing your mic, testing your bandwidth, testing the glare in the room, actually having someone stand up and do a presentation with the computer that served as the camera at the location and doing a tabletop. I really think because of the exercise that I performed through Toastmasters over the years, I was able to demonstrate a level of experience and leadership in pulling off something that, had I not, and had they just done it the way they were going to, I think would have been a very unprofessional event. And instead, it turned out to be a fantastically well-run and well-remembered event. This was at a SERBCA, Southeastern Building Commissioning Association conference with 200 attendees about 3 years ago. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Jim. That was awesome. Loved hearing how Toastmasters helped you be an out-of-the-box leader outside of Toastmasters. And who's calling in from 561-302-0051? Who is that? I can see your number.
Would you know who it is?
I know who it is?
Yes.
It's Paul.
Oh, Paul. Hi, Paul. Would you like to participate in a table topic?
Sure, why not?
Awesome. I'm so glad I called on you. So, like I said before, this is a club for out-of-the-box leaders, people who like to ride the edge, not just within Toastmasters, but with outside of Toastmasters. And I would like to know, what is one of the most out-of-the-box, most outrageous things that you've done to push the limits of a club, excuse me, or a project in or outside of Toastmasters? Paul?
What have I done to push the limits in or out of Toastmasters?
Yes, that's right.
Good question, Madam Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters. and honored to actually get on this call via telephone with less distractions here at work. It was the easiest way to do that. The best thing I could think of, well, here, how's this for pushing it to outer limits? I can't believe that somehow I end up going to 9 clubs within a year. That's pretty much out of the box, I would think. The average Toastmaster probably doesn't go to 9 clubs. And I feel like it's become not quite like a drug. I think it is very positive, but I think that I'm definitely at my limit, so to speak, if I could say so to speak. Is there a grammarian in the house or an odd counter? As Dawn knows, I think I helped inspire her to begin this club. And when I was starting another online club on another night, I was just a little baby idea back in July, wondering where I was going to come up with 20 members and a charter application. And somehow you just keep pushing through every week, and it actually happened. And I see the same thing that Dawn is doing here. On top of doing that club, coming here, doing a photography business, having a financial business, having a wife, no kids, but 3 birds. And by the way, I can't see any green light. I should have looked at the clock.
You're at yellowish on your way to red, so let you know.
Probably close to the green, right? Maybe the yellow.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I didn't hear.
Yes, you're
So
beyond yellow.
Okay, gotcha. So I will wrap up to add to that mix and helping out another Toastmaster and another worldwide online club called Global Trainers and helping them out with their VP of PR. I think I've done more VP PR than the average Toastmaster as well. I think it's now listed on my profile like 6 or 7 times. I guess they could tell I like social media. Maybe if you know someone that needs any help with Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, etc., you know who to call. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Paul. That was great. Thank you so much. Adrienne in the house. Just got off the camera trying to sneak out. I know you are an out-of-the-box thinker, an edge writer, someone who likes to keep things moving and keep things exciting and, yes, happening. Could you share with me and the rest of the Toastmasters here, Adrienne, what would you like to see? Not just in, other online clubs, but what would you like to see? How would you like to push the limits of the clubs that you are participating in?
Stronger reviews and evaluations. I was recently asked to join a person that I evaluated. The club thought I evaluated him harshly, and he actually asked me to come work with his clients to help evaluate them, because TED Talk people have what they call reviewers. Their speeches get evaluated, and I didn't know that. And so the honesty from my evaluation helped him get the feedback that he needed, because what I didn't know is that he had recently got really sick, was in the hospital, was in a coma. And the funny thing about it is I have a great gift of discernment from the Holy Spirit. And I really wanted to say when I did that evaluation, you should have stood up and delivered that speech. But something had me convicted to not say that. And I didn't. And it turns out he's in a wheelchair. I had no way of knowing that. And what a disaster that would have been if I would have said, stand up and deliver your speech. I think that for me, I do have a desire to be a professional in this industry. And I don't want to be in a client embarrassed. So I need the evaluations to be on point with what I need to do better so that I can command the stage, be able to compete with my peers that have spoken for 15, 20 years, as I'm new, they're established, and just really getting a clear message across to get my first speaking engagement, because I've never had one. I've spoken for free, like you all know. In Toastmasters, you can speak for free anywhere. But to actually get someone to pay you for a service, now that's making a change in a career. So I would like to see Toastmasters come up with an advanced evaluation group, even if it is offline and not a part of our regular club, where you can submit a video and have those videos evaluated so that you can get honest feedback without being embarrassed that it was too harsh in front of the rest of the people, because we're all prideful. And then that way, it's not recorded, it's private. You can get your constructive criticism and improve on it. So when you come back next week, you're slamming. And you're getting a standing ovation because you move the audience with your emotions. Not just said something that's in you that we all can do at any drop of a dime. And that would help us to be better Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmaster. General evaluator.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrienne. I might need somebody else to also do a backup timing thing, because Jim, we can't hear you if your little whistle's going on. So, oh no, Adrienne, you were doing the timing. Oh, I'm so confused.
I forgot.
I'm so confused. Because we're all helping each other out here, and I'm trying to help out.
Everyone was on time.
Awesome. All right, Pamelah. Love the Pamelah. So I want to hear from you. My question for you, again, this is, I can't say it enough, but we are pushing and visioning and in this, the forward movement of creating a club where Maverick leaders feel safe to make a big impact in the world. And I'd like to ask you, Pamelah, what do you think or feel would be the most important thing for you as a Maverick leader to feel safe making an impact in the world?
Thank you for that question. We've had this conversation many times, so I'm well ensconced in the answer for this. The safety comes from being with people who can be authentic. And sort of what Adrienne was saying is provide real, honest feedback. I trust people who can tell me the truth. How it's delivered makes a difference. And the safety comes from me in the delivery process. Because I have people who have, quote, told me the truth in a tone of voice that makes me cringe. Then I've had people like you, Don, who can tell me the truth and I can totally receive it because I know there's so much authentic love behind it. So to me, the delivery of the truth and the authentic feedback is really important. The process of how it is delivered from me creates a safety. I also find that for a Maverick leader, there's such a tenderness around doing things that are so out of the box and a high potential for feeling criticized or rejected because you're doing something that other people may not even understand what you're talking about. May not make any sense to them. They may not have a context for understanding it. So I appreciate that my own internal safety and my own alignment with my truth is super important to feel safe in sharing what I share. So it's also up to me to only share things that I feel safe about sharing, that I feel completely passionate and in alignment with. I'm not feeling that way. It's not the right time to share. Madam Table Topics Master. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamelah. And Martin, I want to hear from you as well. So one last table topic for today. You are here within this space of other Maverick leaders. I want to know what would make you the most excited about coming back. What would be the thing that would be the draw for you, so you can share it with us as a club, that says that you know that the club is full of Maverick leaders, that you belong here, and what would give you that sense of, yeah, I want to be a part of that club? Martin Green.
Thank you, Madam General Value, or Madam Toastmaster. What always makes me come back is the feeling of community, of supportiveness, of feeling that I have the opportunity to grow and be better, just a little bit better than I was before. And I think that the points that were made by the two folks before me were very relevant in that. This is a club where I would expect to have an evaluation that was more granular, more direct, and would find more of the things that I can improve. I would also expect it to be in the same respectful tone that we would expect anywhere in Toastmasters. And I would expect to find a higher level of structure and performance in the speeches that are given, and attention to the objectives that were set for accomplishing those projects. So unlike brick and mortar club, where I have a lot of beginners and I'm mentoring people who are just starting out, and even our other online group where there are beginners, but it's online and we're really firm community, this is a club where what would make me come back would be the opportunity to really improve and be evaluated as things are. Thank you for the opportunity to bring that up, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you so much. And I'm going to give the meeting back over at this time to Pamelah Landers. And does the timer want to actually give us a timer report?
That was you, right? Who was timing?
We were all timing. Everybody was within timing, within time. So yeah, back to you, Pamelah.
Thank you. Okay, a timer's report. So Adrienne, do you have a timer's report?
Everyone met the time requirements.
Great, thank you. Okay, now I would like to introduce our general evaluator who's going to be doing the evaluation portion of our meeting, Dawn Nocera.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And this is a little back and forth. As a general evaluator, I am going to ask for the first evaluator who will be evaluating Martin Green's speech, and that is Pamelah Landers. Pamelah Landers, can you?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marty, thank you for your power is in your point of view speech today. Is this your completing your manual? Completing
no,
your
this is I just want I
jumped around. Okay.
Want to do it at a higher level.
Okay. So what the purpose of your speech was to inspire the audience to improve personally, emotionally, professionally, or spiritually, heavily relying on emotional appeal. What I felt was that your speech was totally relevant to the inspiration. I felt inspired by having a clarity around choosing a point of view as a place to start a speech. That was really valuable insight for me that I hadn't had before. So I really appreciate that input. And you did use stories and anecdotes in order to demonstrate, which was one of the requests for this speech. Told some really good stories about people choosing a point of view, and you included in that. So thank you for sharing that. One of the things I recommend, and if you go back and watch this video, you'll see that your hand was up against all the time. I'm going to recommend that on this video, yes, like that. On this video, that you put your hand below your desk or whatever surface you have. You move your hand a lot, but we don't want to see them. Because it got in the way of your face some of the time, and that was challenging. It was super distracting. most of the time. I had to really concentrate on listening to you versus seeing your hand flying around. So I recommend that online. It is a whole different experience of having hands doing whatever they're doing versus having them held down and not visible. So thank you for that. The other thing I want to recommend is also, this is an online challenge, is one of the requirements of this speech was to use body language as a way to get your message across. And I didn't see that because they're learning how to do body language when you're not in front of an audience and you're not moving around physically and can't use that floor space is a new experience. This is going to be, I think, one of the edges of being online, of how to do body language for a speech. So I think that is something else that can be learned. I know this is your first time probably online doing a speech and having that experience, I'm guessing. Is that true? Yeah, so there's a lot to be learned about working with your body. That was the only area that I had recommendation, was how to work with your body. I really appreciated that. I felt uplifted with this speech. I felt inspired to take the insights that you shared and take action on them. And that's always a benefit for having an inspiration. So well done, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Pamelah. And at this time, I'm going to just go straight in and evaluate Adrienne. We're going to do it maybe just, well, I want to say, first of all, Adrienne, thank you so much, not only for your speech, but for the invitation to give you an honest and powerful evaluation, as much as I can, during our time together. Adrienne has requested that we give her some feedbacks. If you want to stick around for 5 minutes after a meeting, you can. I would like to say that one of the things that was the objective of this meeting was for Andrea to be in character. And I think you did that really well. I was inspired by this speech, and the way you brought it into Toastmasters really helped me connect with how many times do I say I'm sorry, right? I find myself saying I'm sorry a lot recently. The thing that I wanted to say about just a piece of improvement here is that as you were giving the beginning of the speech, the introduction, the setup, you were kind of already in character. I would have liked to hear the big, vast difference between when Adrienne's Adrienne and Adrienne is in character, because you're very similar to this woman in personality, and even I can even tell that it's, you know, this brings out the inner Adrienne, right? This woman connects to you. And maybe because you did this speech when you were in high school, the same dialogue.
That's not the one.
That's not the one. There's a different one. Oh, sorry. Woo.
I couldn't find it.
Okay. Well, I misunderstood that. However, I would have liked to have heard a big difference between you as Adrienne and then you as in character. And I think that there's a possibility for you to do that in future speeches if you do this again, or when you're in character, to know that you kind of get in character first. You kind of get in character as you prepare. I liked how you brought us into it, gave us kind of a history of it, and delivered this in a way that it connected to us as Toastmasters. And definitely invite other people to bring in more of an evaluation and give you some more feedback on this too. So I'm going to go straight into evaluating. That's the end of my evaluation right now, because we're kind of running out of time, getting close to the end. I wanted to evaluate the meeting as a whole. I also am so grateful for Paul popping in and just mentioning, hey, doing online meetings is a journey and starting a new club is a journey. And thank you, Paul, so much. I know you're muted right now, but thank you so much for bringing that part into your table topic. I wanted also to give Martin a very special award that's due to deep in my heart. And I might just do this periodically when somebody's speech is worthy of my award feelers out. I like that you bring in women into your speech, Marty. I don't know that that's a natural, I don't know if you do that intentionally or not, but when you talked about your speech and the points of view, you brought in women. And you used yourself as the third person, but I celebrate that. I look for people who can do that, and you did that. So I wanted to add, you get the special Women Rock Award because you have an ability to do that, and it's not the first time that you've done it, and I appreciate it. Pamelah, as always, you do give great evaluations, and you're a great role model for how to do that, and I appreciate it. And I loved everybody's answers to their table topics. I did a great job of asking these questions. And I hope that we continue to do that. Think about who we are as a club moving forward and what kind of table topic questions do we want to really ask to get to the meat of who the people are and help connect our members to their mission, to the mission of the club. And I would just like to give, we have a couple more minutes.
Ask Jim. For his report.
Jim, your report. Yes, let me unmute you.
Sure, and yeah. Oh, was I muted this whole time? I apologize. I wasn't able to. I thought I was in control of that, so I did have my little playing off and on. So you might want to keep that in mind with the timer.
Most of the time, I had you unmuted. Just by the way, Jim. Most of the time.
Good. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I will just summarize the biggest problem that I saw today was the excessive use of repeat and false starts, which what I mean by that is a lot of people said that's that, it, and there was a lot of repetition, false starting of a thought. And then the other notable thing I want to share is with Marty and with Adrienne and with Dawn, not that it was that excessive, but a run-on sentences where you use and more than once in the course of a sentence. So it wasn't a big deal, but it's something to pay attention to where a pregnant pause would probably have been more effective. So I'll just leave it at that. There was several ums and ahs. I had 2. The Table Topics Master role had 1. The General Evaluator had 4. And that concludes my counter and grammarian report.
Awesome, thank you. And Adrienne, for your timers report.
For the last segment, the evaluators, we had Pam, 3 minutes, 11 seconds, and Dawn, you were 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Actually, I go by Pamelah, not Pam, but thank
Pamelah.
you.
Everyone qualifies.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much. And we have Paul, this is the first time that you've been here at our meeting. Tell us, I'm going to unmute you. Tell us, what are your thoughts? What did you think? You've been around 9 clubs. I love your feedback.
I think that Toastmasters is contagious, but in a good way. It's the nice preferred drug of choice, a positive energy, and that's the best feedback that I would give you. If you did want to help on that spotlighting, I could show you how to do that in a quickie phone call at some time. But I understand how it's good to try to do it as low-key as possible when you're trying to alert the speakers when the green, yellow, and red is. But overall, great positive energy, and look forward to seeing your charter any day now, any week now.
Okay, thanks. Thanks so much, Paul. I appreciate it. And does anyone else want to give just general feedback? Adrienne, you've been around a lot. I know you're getting ready to do some other things. Would you like to offer some feedback?
I thought the meeting was good. I typically find that when we have meetings and there are less people, they are more effective because you get to communicate more and you get more out of the meeting. So even though there were less people, I thought it was a really good meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Marty, do you want to give some feedback? You've been around a couple times.
I enjoyed it. I thought that having your smile always sets the tone really for how I feel about it. And I say that in a way, what I mean by that is that it's always a positive vibe, and that's really, really, really important. Everybody really, and I agree with Adrienne, having a smaller group does allow you to participate more. I love that everybody got a chance to do table topics, because that's there, and I love the feedback and the evaluation. So I'm looking forward to participating again. There are times I won't be able to, only because I'm actually at work in a conference room, and I was able to reserve it, but not always. I won't always be able to. But I appreciate being part of an advanced club, and you folks will make me rise to a higher level, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And at this time, I'd like to end our meeting. And please stick around if you want to fill a role, because I will be filling the roles as soon as I say we are complete. And they're clapping us out here. Oh, thank you.